Welcome back, Malmo regional viewers. We are now here for our win and in action. Round 9, people playing for their spot in day 2. It doesn't get more high stakes than this.
Yeah, somebody's tournament is over here. You know, this is round 9. This is the crunch time. This is winning in time. You know, pressure's on our players here to perform, but not most importantly, for the last round, these guys are 5-2-1, which means that one more win will take them to day 2, but one more loss, the tournament's over, like I said.
Yeah, and it's a scary place to be. You know, you can either be in day 2 or you're packing up your suitcase maybe for an early trip home. A win or go home scenario for both our players. One of these players, though, is very used to the big bright lights, eh?
Yeah, you got that totally right. But it's not only, it's our world champion. It's our recent world champion, Andre Screwball, against Jens Hausmann. You know, both playing that sable.
What's Andre doing?
That completely threw me off. They're playing the
Boy was taking a picture of me for a sec there.
That completely threw me off. They're playing the Lost Zone Sablezard variant. It's going to be the mirror, and this is really this is as grindy as it gets.
No, 100%. So we're going to see, if you're interested in the Sablezard deck, you're about to see an absolute masterclass here from 2 top-tier players. On the right there, our world champion, Andre Screwball, against Jan Hausmann. This is going to be, there is Jan there. Honestly, it doesn't get more high stakes than this. Honestly, it's going to be insane.
Yeah, it's the winning in. But before we get into it, let's have a look at the achievements for Jan. And we see there top 16 at Regional Warsaw, top 128 at EUIC London, and of course the top 128 at the special event Utrecht. No achievements to be snuffed at. You know,
yep.
This is maybe a newer player who's come onto the scene. You know, and you know, strutting this stuff.
Yeah, and worth noting, all of these are recent. These are all from this season, so you could say he's on a bit of a trend upwards here. You know, EUIC 2023, it was this format only a few weeks ago, as it were. So Jan's going to be no pushover, going to do everything he can to get himself into day 2 and get another notch in his Limitless page, as it were. And here we go over to Andre Screwball, World Championship 2022 champion, EUIC 2019 top 4, LAIC top 8, NAIC top 16, very hard to do there, and then top 8 at Harrogate Regionals as well.
Yeah, very established player, but not only that, but you know, there's only so many people in the world that can call themselves a world champion, master level, and you know, Andre is, you know, one of those players who are just excellent. They really take the game meticulously. Every decision counts. You know, in a mirror match like this, it's going to be perfect to watch.
Yeah, definitely. I cannot wait. And even though it is a Sablezard, there's going to be plenty of, you know, plays and tips and tricks that we're going to be able to see and watch here. Let's have a look at these prize cards then. Whoa! Hold on a sec. 2 Sableye and Charizard. And traditionally, players take their prizes top to bottom, and they're all in the middle and all the top. So that is not great. Looking at Andre there, has actually prized 1 Sableye himself, and that is at the top as well. So Sableye's clearly don't want to get involved in this action. Extremely
painful prizes for Jan there, but you know, Andre can rest assured, you know, he does play 3 Sableye, understanding how important it is to utilize the Lost Mine attack, and especially in this matchup, this can make a massive difference. Yeah, and it looks like Andre is kicking us off. So let me run you through, Rabbi, some of the cards in Andre's list here that might be seen as a little bit off the wall. So we see the cross switchers. We haven't actually seen them much on the Sablezard on stream, at least, letting you have a gust without having to play boss's orders. We do see 1 copy of Halucha to get some extra spread damage. We do see that more while, you know, letting you potentially trap something. We do see 2 copies of the Poke Gear, 1 choice belt, so none of the Defiance belt that we have been seeing before, and 2 Poke Gears. What do you think about this list so far, Abby? Yeah, Cross Switcher, it seems to be on the decline in the Lossard list. You know, it was a card that was usually included as a 4 of in this list just because it had so much space. You know, not having to use Mirage Gates, and depending on the Pokemon Go Charizard, it had the space to be able to utilize Cross Switcher. And, you know, it is another switch out, but also it can act as a boss, you know. Yeah. But here we see Andre opting to get the Comfade down. I think this is going to be a race for both players to try and get 10 cards in the Lost Zone to try and utilize, again, that Lost Mine attack from Sableye.
Which is devastating, right? That Lost Mine, and unfortunately, for, it might be a while before he finds it. He does play a heavy ball. I'm gonna say he does play a heavy ball actually, so we'll be able to rescue one of those many prized Pokemon if he finds it, of course. And Andre here, just get the nest ball out, getting down Comfey. Comfey's all over the shop. We start getting cards in the Lost Zone. Has he got one card in Lost Zone already?
Yeah.
Andre?
Yeah, he certainly does. Yeah.
Oh.
Important to note that neither player play the Pidgeot Forest Seal Stone engine to try and accelerate it, accelerate their engine for Comfey and Colress Experiment. So they're just gonna have to do it the old-fashioned way through Colress's and Comfey's. And here we see another flower selecting from Andre here.
Oh, he's putting his Lost Zone off camera. Okay, that makes. I was like, where's that? Where's it coming from then?
It really is the Lost Zone.
Yeah. You see, switch cards. So 3 cards in the Lost Zone going first. That's it. Is that a Manaphy? And that's the thing, Andre does not know what version of Lost Box he's playing against. Getting rid of the Manaphy blind here could prove devastating if it was another Lost Box step. But since it's Sable's it's actually a pretty safe card to throw away. Yeah. Let's see what he picks.
And he has a little chuckle to himself.
It was, oh goodness.
He has a little chuckle to himself there. You know, he knows it's the age-old story. Your opponent starts a Comfey, you're left guessing what variant they play.
Is it Turbo? Is there going to be a Raikou knocking on my door turn 1? Is it going to be, like you said, Sablezard? Is it going to be Greninja knocking on your door? No, it's Sable. And as soon as that Pokegear hits the surface, it's probably safe to say, right, I'm playing against Sablezard. I wish I had that Colress instead. Yeah,
he'll probably be kicking himself later down the line, but I think it is the most optimal play. You know, keeping the Manaphy for that Radiant Greninja is going to be very important in the other matchups, but unfortunately for Andre, not in this one. And we see Jan playing down the Colress's Experiment, opting to go for the Fire Energy and Magma Basin.
Yeah, it's worth noting that Jan, and we did see it off the Colress there, does actually play 1 copy of Mirage Gate, which could prove interesting, letting you to get some energy on the board fast, letting you potentially pay some retreat costs, or letting you get to Combustion Blast at turns where you otherwise have no right to be getting to Combustion Blast. As it stands now, the Combustion Blast is in the top prize card, so that won't be happening anytime soon. And here we see Fog Crystal for you, and probably a little price check, thinking, oh, hold on a sec, hang on. Ain't got no Sableye, ain't got no Charizard. One of the Comfey's hiding in there too. You could argue, and there's a Clara there as well. So whatever Pokemon Jan does have access to, you got to be very efficient with them.
Yeah, if he can take a few early knockouts with Cramorant, he seems to be okay here. But, you know, Radiant Charizard is so advantageous in this matchup just because it's so hard to knock out for the other player. You know, Spit Innocently doesn't attack for weakness. So the only way that these guys can knock out each other's Charizards is by using the Charizard itself. And going back to the Mirage Gate, I really like the Mirage Edition. It adds that added little bit of pressure. And like you said, it gives the players the availability to get up the Combustion Blast on turns that it has absolutely no right in doing so. But here we see Jan actually opting to pick up.
Yeah, I was about to say, and benches it as well.
And benches it as well. And the thing is here, Andre is going to be thinking, this is another Sableye target for me.
Yes, 100%. Because Andre did keep his. He didn't put it in play. So now you see the Fire Energy. It's safe to say, right, probably going to be Sablezard. Let me leave that Manaphy in my hand. Here we start off with the Colress's Experiment. It looks like we see, what, a Sableye. I think there might have been a Colress in there as well. Actually, it doesn't look too happy. We see a Cross Switcher. Is that the Morwall? Yeah. Oh no! That is
Morwall there. Yeah, I don't think it'd be useful in this matchup.
No.
So ups to the Lost Zone, best place for it.
Yeah, 100%. And Andre is getting that Lost Zone, you know, up there now. 5 in Lost Zone. You know,
Jan points to the Manaphy.
Like, look, he's saying, look, I took it. Yeah, I got rid of a Colress.
Just going back to Jan's turn, though, super unfortunate. You know, getting the 4 cards in the Lost Zone, but unable to get out the Cramorant for the most optimal play to take an early knockout. But here we see Andre doing just that. Nest Ball for the Cramorant, taking some early prizes here.
Yeah, Crimrant's so good, you know, in these scenarios, letting you, you know, attack for free. 110 damage, perfect for KOing almost anything in the Lost Box decks outside of that Charles. Like I said, it doesn't hit for weakness, but perfect. You know, taking some prize cards, setting up some damage, putting some pressure on.
Yeah, no.
Perfect. That's all you want to do in a winning scenario.
Yeah, of course, and Andre will be one up on the prize race, which could prove massive here. Opts to Lost Zone the choice spell, not going to be very useful in this matchup.
No, not at all.
And opts here to just checking how many cards are in Jan's hand, and I imagine here just seeing the retreat into the Cramorant for an early knockout and getting ahead of that prize race, like we said.
Yeah, I mean, Jan's start wasn't particularly crazy, right? Has got 4 cards in Lost Zone, to be fair, but there is no Pokemon knocking about, so there's a chance here that Andre might be able to pull ahead a little bit here with that Cramorant. All Jan needs to do, though, is find his own Cramorant to, you know, respond, as it were. And it looks like Andre is debating here off this flower selecting. I wonder what this decision is, because it's definitely, what is it? So we've got Lost Vacuum and Fog Crystal.
Fog Crystal. Fog Crystal, of course, so useful in this matchup.
Yeah, it's got to be.
You know, giving you the availability to grab the Sableye, but of course the Psychic Energy as well. I didn't see the Escape Rope in hand originally, but, you know, opting to retreat into the Comfey, you know, 1 extra card in that Lost Zone. Now he's up to 7. You know, I can imagine a Sableye is going to be coming pretty soon.
And I think it looked like he was debating whether to play the Escape Rope, because you know that Manaphy's straight to the active. And oh, here we go, see another Comfey getting rid of a VIP battle pass. And Cramorant, yeah, welcome to the party, Cram. That's perfectly fine. I wouldn't mind seeing a second one. Oh, double cross switches. Interesting. Not a card I expect to see too much in this matchup, to be honest, because you're taking 1 prize no matter what. But I guess you want to leave that Manaphy around as long as possible, since that's the least helpful card for Jan. So let me go and grab a Comfey instead.
Yeah, Andre's keeping that hand secret from me, because I. But you see the double cross switcher into the Comfey with the energy attachment. I really like this play, just because it takes that free retreat away from Jan for next turn. And here we see the Spit Innocently, I imagine, now taking that first prize of the game. So
it looks like Andre has taken the first prize here in this win and in scenario. Win or go home. Unfortunately for one of our players, Andre is currently 1 prize card up. Let's see what Jan can manufacture here on his turn. Starting off with a flower selecting.
I giggle because Andre never fails to hide away his emotions.
No.
He's always exasperating, and he's always just kind of like, oh, you know, oh, I got to get this card. This is my matchup. Oh, this is such a pain, you know. But these are what these players, there's so much pressure on these guys, especially in this situation as well.
Yeah, like you said, but being 1 prize card up is always advantageous. Takes the pressure off here a little bit. And if this Cramorant doesn't get responded to, by the way, it's going to take another prize card, right? Jan does have to start to threaten some sort of an attacker, so I'm not sure what's in that. Ooh, there's no way to find an attacker from those 5 cards at least, though.
Oh, we do see
Chorus and an energy.
Heavy ball, so he can access the
true
now. However, you know, with such...
But do you take Sableye or Zard, though? I mean, obviously probably take a Sableye because they're both in there, but I think like you want to get to Zard at some point as well.
Yeah, I think now that he's so close to getting that Lost Mine up and running, I would probably take the Sableye. Jan has to try and keep up with this prize race here as early as possible.
No, for sure. And there goes the Sableye. Does get rescued. Jan said, no, you can't just hide in here, lads. Come on, get out. The Zard does go back to the top. Sableye just moves over to the left, as it were, or right, I should say. But we do have one here as well. Here comes a Nespal, actually. So we are going to see a minimum, maybe a Cram, another Comfey. And we try and get that Lost Zone. Is it possible for Jan to get to 10 this turn?
I think he's already Colressed, so unless he has access to another... No, I don't believe so.
Does a Vacuum get you there?
There's nothing to vacuum. Unless there's something in Jan's hand, unless there's something like a stadium.
Yeah, fair enough.
Or any sort of tool cards, which I don't believe he does play. So we see here he's sitting on 7 in the Lost Zone, free retreat with that Beach Court, such a vital addition to these Lost Zone engines, giving a free retreat to the Comfey. And we see here a Pokegear just entering that Lost Zone, putting him up to 8.
So Lost Vacuum gets you there now, then.
Yeah.
I think we saw one off the Colress, right? I'm fairly certain. So that's it, a second card to the left, or on the right, I think.
You'll need one...
Oh, Escape Rope?
Yeah,
okay.
no, it will. Yes, you are correct. Yeah, so now with the Beach Court, he is able to put 10 into the Lost Zone.
Yeah, there's a Lost Vacuum.
Yeah.
So 1,
And a Horlucha here would be absolutely
devastating, yeah.
For Jan, because he'll be able to take the 2 knockouts.
Oh, don't see a way of getting to that Horlucha though.
No. Still a good position though.
No, great position. First one to Lost Mine.
Yeah, he's still setting up that damage.
So there's 7 there, so at least what, 5 more?
Yep.
Yeah, 5 more. That Lost Mine is a terrific attack, you know, spending 12 damage counters for 1 energy on a 1 prize Pokemon. And we was having a little discussion before we came on, thinking, how does the Sable Zard mirror go? And I tell you what, for the first one to Lost Mine, that's very advantageous.
No, yeah, of course. If you're able to just stream the Lost Mine over and over again, you know, it can be absolutely devastating to your opponent's board. All of these really low HP Pokemon, being the Comfey in this matchup, and the Manaphy if it's dropped down, and the Sableye itself as well, only 80 HPs.
Yeah.
You know, if you're able to put, say, 30 damage counters on a Comfey, you know, you're guaranteed 2 prizes in your next turn.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Now, Lostbox hasn't got access to Scoop Up Net, Lost in rotation. This damage will be sticking around. Now, worth noting, Switch Cart can actually heal off some of this potential residual damage, but it's not used to, you only have a finite amount of them, right? And Sableye has the power to just OHKO these Comfeys in a turn, regardless whether they have any damage on. So it looks like both players are now on 10 cards in the Lost Zone, so Lost Mines will be flying out left, right and centre, hopefully, for each player. And it looks like we see another flower selecting here. Sableye and Roxanne, I think that was, and Roxanne swiftly hitting the Lost Zone.
Opting to Lost Zone the Roxanne, we've seen how advantageous it can be in the mirror.
Yeah.
You know, once all your opponent's Colruses are gone, a Roxanne can be absolutely devastating to your hand disruption. So we see here this Fog Crystal opting to get that Psychic Energy, like we said before, so flexible. You know, in this deck, it can get a Comfey, it can get a Psychic Energy, it can get a Sableye. Has many uses. So we see here the Psychic Energy, and I can imagine a Sableye of Andre's own coming down soon.
Yeah, and if you are Sableye in this turn, if you're Andre, where do you think this damage goes? Does it just go onto active plus somewhere else?
I would have thought so. It's removing the threat. You know, Andre doesn't know that he's prized his other Sableye, so
yeah, true.
Is asking a lot more. But we know that Jan does play, you know, an abundance of Clara to be able to just keep streaming that Sableye.
Yeah, for sure. And that Sableye is just going to be spreading damage everywhere. Let's see. I think Andre did take a Sableye from Flower Selecting. He does have one in the prize card. That's something worth noting. There is usually a Beach Core. Actually helps out both players. We see a retreat into the next Flower Selected, so it's like Andre's trying to dig for something. We do see the Charizard as one of the potential cards off that Flower Selecting. Consulting the hand, I wonder what that other card is.
Yeah, I'd imagine he has to take the Charizard there, so, and he does so.
There's like some sort of trainer. Unfortunately, you can't. Just a little bit off screen there.
I think it was Cross Switcher.
Okay, speaking of
removing the damage.
Switch cart,
like
only heals 20 though, so there should be 1 more damage on there, right?
No, heals 30.
Oh, is it heal 30?
Yeah.
Does it? Oh my goodness, great! I did not. I thought it was 20 this whole time. Oh my goodness. So yeah, that's very good. Here we see the Lost Mine getting ready here for Andre. 1 turn behind on the Lost Mine, but you could argue potentially has the better board state. Let's see where this Lost Mine goes. 12 damage counters to play with, so it looks like we're going to see 4 there and then the rest on the active Sableye.
And both players just can't seem to find that Horlucha.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you know, Horlucha putting the 10 damage counters on 2 of your opponent's bench Pokemon. It's perfect in this matchup, you know, putting the Comfeys down to 60 HP for such a devastating Lost Mine when taking 2 prizes. Being that you can put up to 12 damage counters on your opponent's Pokemon.
I think the problem with Horlucha in these kind of decks, mainly the Lost Boxes, you don't play a lot of Ball Search that comes to hand. Sure, you play a lot of Battle VIP Pass and or Nest Ball, but that won't activate Horlucha's ability, that flying stance. You have to have it in hand. So I would argue the easiest way to do that, if you don't find your one of level ball, is off Raihan, to be perfectly honest. You haven't got a ton of search for that Horlucha, which would be absolutely devastating if you could pull it off. Speaking of Raihan, is that a Raihan in Jan's hand?
It does look like a Raihan, yeah.
So he's opting to hold it for now, though.
I'm guessing he's going to be using Clara here, though, just to get that Sableye back up as well.
Maybe do the Halucha turn if necessary later on, maybe as a little game winner or game ender, I should say.
It can be a game finisher, usually is with the flying entry ability, and we see here the Saberlight coming down, and of course the 2 damage counters that were placed in the earlier turn, meaning that, you know, like I said earlier, the 12 damage counters being placed on the 2 Confes is an action that is available to him. And we see here the Mirage Gauge, the fire energy attached to the Confe, giving him free retreat in the later turns.
Yeah, for sure. And it's there we go to see that one-off Mirage Gate coming up immediately, right? There's a Fog Crystal. Looks like that was going to be a fail search on that, but I'm not 100% sure. Like, there we see a free retreat. Oh, we can see cross picks ourselves. Oh, the switch card. Yeah.
Put it down to 1 damage counter.
Wow, what a turn that was. That was a strong response turn there for Jan. Said, I'm not going down without a fight, buddy. So here we see a lost mine, I would imagine. 12 damage counters to play with. I imagine 8 always go on to the active, leaving you 4 to play. Where do you think you'd be putting these?
I would imagine he's probably going to be taking out the 2 Confe. You know, we know with the Saberlight decks, they all have an abundance of Clara. So you know, taking out a Saberlight, yeah, although you're removing a threat, you know, it's most likely now in these later turns with the decks are thin, Clara is going to be an available option to you. But also taking out the 2 Confes is so advantageous because you're taking away the draw engine on your opponent's side. So if, say, Andre takes a knockout here, Jan can just, you know, if he could Roxanne, it could be absolutely massive.
And I guess that's sort of, I was going to say the sort of downside there is that if Andre just opts to carry the Saberlight, Jan can just respond with a Cramrant as well. So, and you're never going to just carry the Cramrant if you're Andre because the Saberlight just hits again. So it's actually a really interesting scenario there. Jan going for the double Confe, really impactful. Now, from Andre's side of the board, you're right. It's sort of the engines, as it were, have just sort of slowed down to a halt. No Confe in play. We've seen a few Chorus Experiment being used. Away 12 cards in the Lost Zone already. Looks like a fourth of a deck almost, 12 cards. So, yeah, definitely could be resource intensive trying to close this game out.
Yeah, and I think with the Roxanne being, you know, a very popular addition to this deck, you know, especially for the mirrors, you do have to protect yourself against the Roxanne. You really do. So if Andre is able to match this with a flying entry or Halucha on the 2 Confe onto Jan's Confe, this could also be
maybe
a game over for Andre by any means. And we see the right hand coming down, maybe popping down another Saberlight, just preparing for that Roxanne.
Yeah.
As long as another Saberlight's down, he is safe. He does have another attacker on board in the Cramorant, but he does want to keep, you know, he wants to keep streaming these Lost Mines for multiple prizes if he can.
Yeah, that's what that seems to aim in the game now. It's just lost mine, lost mine, lost mine. Interesting. I wonder if he does have access to the Halucha. Has it been lost zoned or something? Because this would have been a pretty good turn for it, like you said. Or maybe Andre's just valuing, you know, having the backup Saberlight for next turn. I guess you can always do Halucha at any other random point. Doesn't need to be exactly this turn. Do you see the Echoing Horn there from Andre as well? That is a card both players do play, letting you manipulate benched Pokemon and, you know, be able to pick up prizes in a potentially easier fashion. But it looks like we do see 8 on the active there after Lost Mine and 4 on the bench. Andre going down to 3 prize cards, so it's all even right here, at least for now.
Yeah, it's all square, but if Jan can match this with a multi-prize knockout, it can be game over for Andre, unfortunately. But we see here Jan starting his turn with a Hisuian Heavy Ball. I imagine he's probably going to be getting that Saberlight. Yeah. So he doesn't have to Clara. This is crazy. Yeah. So now not having to Clara will mean that he can pay his attention to other supporters like Roxanne.
About to say, I think Roxanne's in hand as well, right? Could be a potential devastating turn. Andre hasn't got access to... Is Roxanne in hand, actually?
Yeah, I believe it's that middle card there.
Okay. Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. And with Andre having no Confe in play, it's going to be quite hard for him to fill his hand back up.
Yeah, it'll put pressure on Andre to try and find Psychic Energy for next turn. But, you know, there's a reason why he put that Saberlight down. It's to protect himself against this Roxanne. Yes. If he's able to put down the backup attacker on board, ready for next turn, it just increases his outs to being to keep himself in the game.
I guess that's why you attach the energy as well after Raihan, just so you can have an out if beach court gets bumped for whatever reason as well. So at least you can try and maneuver, make yourself your next turn as easy as possible if Jan decides to start closing the door on you, as it were. So this could be a game-defining turn right here for both players, actually. How does Roxanne treat both players?
He got his psychic energy.
He did.
That's huge.
And a switch card as well. Oh, lost vacuum. Over at Jan, what has he got? 1, 2, 3, 4. Get 2 more, buddy. There you go. We see an escape rope. Probably won't be playing that.
Does have the Clara in hand.
Does have Clara in hand. That's all you want to see with these lost box decks, is just claring all these late game turns. There we do see a relevant switch card as well. Yeah.
So having the switch card, that's massive. Well, actually, no, I just didn't notice the 1 damage counter on the mana fee. So the 2 prize knockout is still active for Andre next turn.
Yes.
So, yeah, just taking the knockout there, putting the 4 damage counters on the Sableye. And if Jan can Echoing Horn next turn, which I do believe he does play, you know, Jan can take this game next turn.
Oh, goodness. Let's see what Roxanne did. We know we got... Oh, was that a chorus?
I think that was a boss.
Oh, is it a boss? I know it's a blue supporter.
He does have Psychic Energy in hand.
Does have Psychic Energy in hand, but doesn't develop the board. You're at the mercy there of Jan. You'd like to try and, you know, play some cards, see some cards, but Roxanne is terrifying at the best of times. Even more terrifying if you don't have any board to, you know, start filling up your hand with like a barrel or a Comfort or anything like this. Let's see what Andre opts to do here. So there's a switch card to heal. Then retreats again, attaches a lost attaches energy for a lost mine.
See the reaction from Jan there as well, and with that switching card as well, it has negated that ability for Jan to take the game.
And Andre didn't take the Sableye out of prizes. He had an opportunity to take out the prizes, right? But it's the last one.
His body language isn't great. He's looking at his opponent, just saying, you know, have you got it? Just show me, come on, please.
So how does Jan win this turn then? Echoing Horn, like you said, gets there, right?
Well, actually, looking at it, I think Andre's okay as long as Jan can't take multiple prizes next turn, because he does have game on board with the Cramorant or Sableye.
True.
So, with that 1 prize card left, so it's coming down to the multiple prizes again. If he's able to...
I guess he could attack with his Chard, I was about to say, and that would... Yeah. But we did see, didn't Andre have a boss in hand, actually?
Yeah, he did have boss in hand.
So are we seeing a bit of a poker face here from Andre? Just feel like, oh no, woe is me. Well, was it a boss's orders then? I guess we'll find out now. What are those 2 cards?
He's laughing.
What are those 2 cards in his hand, Andre? Show us. Was that a boss? It was. Oh my. Look at Andre, he knows he got away with murder there.
You can wipe the sweat off his brow.
Yeah, oh my goodness. Andre coming back from the clutches of possible defeat, but does take game 1 in this win or go home, winning in scenario here at Malmo Regionals.
It's such a great game 1, you know, it kept us on the edge of our seats, and, you know, Andre able to just scrape that win, I would like to say. You know, maybe it's a bit unfortunate for Jan, but, you know, able to take the boss from the Roxanne and just top decking the boss, you know, sometimes the games just do end like that.
Yeah, and you guys couldn't see us, but when the Roxanne came down, we were literally like, what are the cards, Andre? What are they?
He's very hiding his hand.
Yeah, no, he's really good. And the Lost Zone as well, since he decided to put that off camera. Cheers, Andre. But if you're Jan now, you have to sort of stabilise and think, I'm 1-0 down against the world champion. But if I want that spot in day 2, I cannot give up after trying my best. What do you think is going through his head right now? Again,
it's finding that optimal start. It's really finding all those switch outs very early on, getting those comp down nice and early, get those flower selectings going, drawing into those choruses and getting that Sableye Lost Mine up as soon as possible. Both players play an abundance of Clara, like I said before. With this Sable Zard version of Lost Box, they play 3 Clara, so they can really keep that Lost Mine going. Keep going, keep going. I can do this all day.
Yeah, and it's interesting, because I'm sure I've seen some scenarios on Twitter where people decide if you're going Sable Zard Mirror, do you opt to go first or second, right? I'm sure I've seen those kind of conversations. Halucha in the active position means we're not going to see any of Halucha action. And yeah, speaking of if we want to go first or second, looks like Jan has let Andre go first.
Yeah, interesting choice here. And I guess with Jan going second, he can opt to, well, he is opting to try and get that Colress down in 1.
Yeah.
But let's have a look at this. 2 in the prizes. The odds of having that start in hand.
Oh, true, yeah.
Is going to be, at least lessened by the fact that he has prize 2, like I said. But, starting a fade just to get that flower selecting off turn 1 isn't bad.
No,
it's a bad situation, but we see here from Andre just doing a little prize check.
Got to be done. Got to be done in a winning scenario. You don't want to be making no plays for cards you haven't got, or you want to be hyper aware of every resource you have available to. You could actually make the argument that price checking is even more important in a lost box deck because you're having to lost zone so many cards anyway, right? So you need to make sure you are hyper vigilant of so you know what cards you have available and what resources, because you don't want to be throwing away stuff if you only have like 1 or 2 and you throw away half and all that jazz. So yeah, price checking here super relevant.
I would imagine Andre's probably going to be counting how much Clara, how many Sableye do I have, how many Psychic have I prized, but fortunately for him, it's nothing. It's none of that. All of those really valuable cards that he has are available to him. So we see here the first flower selecting.
Was that a skate rope or was it a core? Oh, it was a cross switcher.
Sableye and a cross switcher. I would have thought you'd
probably get rid of cross switcher, right?
Cross switching,
surely, yeah. Any ways to switch? You want to get any more cards in the loss zone here, Andre? Doesn't look like it, right? Already retreated, I believe. So yeah, just a pass over to Jan. Does Jan have the explosive turn? In an ideal world, you want to try and get a crime rank KO here, right? Or at least just play some Colress and get to rocking. We do see the crime rank hand. We see an escape rope. We see a beach court, switch, and echo. So there's plenty of cards there to get in the loss zone, but no Colress. Not many Comfey, actually. Only 2 so far.
Yeah, unfortunate for Jan. Ooh.
Getting rid of a VIP battle pass. That has to be a Colress then, right?
Yeah, there has to be, or maybe even...
I mean, what other card could be? Yeah, maybe, actually. True. Well, whatever it was, it must have been good, because you don't see it often, too often, I should say, the VIP battle pass to get into down. Was that a Colrus off that card there?
No, it wasn't.
No, that was a Drape. Wait, that wasn't a Drapion, was it?
No, the Drapion.
Yeah, oh, was that in hand? Okay, yeah. I was gonna say.
If Jan can hope, if he can get the Colrus off here, it's not a terrible position to be in. He can take those early knockouts. Again, fall in the loss zone. Oh, that's how you get to 4. Nice, like an ingenuitive way of getting around it, but it does work. It always throws me off.
Yeah,
the lost vacuum is something that I never see. But we see here getting that optimal start with 4 in the lost zone and a spit innocently on that helpless Comfey in the active from Andre, and we'll see here how Andre takes this next turn.
Yeah, Andre is definitely has to navigate these next few turns. Could be a little bit dicey. We see a Bosch and a skate rope. We see Morwell and Zard. Ooh, goodness. Morwell probably goes.
Interesting choices to be made here. I would imagine, like you said, I would imagine Morwell is probably going to be sealing his fate in the lost zone. And Andre now up to 3 cards in the lost zone with that flower selecting. It's going to make that spit innocently nice and active for Andre. And we see here another flower selecting in this match. Opting to lost zone, I believe that looks like a Sableye.
Yeah, yeah, it must be. Yeah, so interesting decision, I guess. We need to be so efficient with Claras. You can reuse the Sableye. Oh, Andre does play 3 Sableye, actually, looking at his list. I just noticed that. So you could be a little bit flippant there with your Sableye if needed. And we are going to see the response. Spit innocent, a little bit of crime run on crime run action there. For a KO evening up, but I think Andre's board isn't, it's not particularly screaming out as me as particularly strong. Only 4 in the loss on your second turn. Hadn't, I don't think played a call. Did play 1 call, sorry, but only 4 in the loss zone turn 2, not a massive amount.
Yeah, it's not a huge amount, like you said, but, removing the threat on board here, he's going to knock out that Urgle, or the Cramorant, so it means that, Jan's going to have to try and find that other Cramorant in his deck to keep up with the prize trade. But here we see the first flower selecting. And
let's see what Jan can manufacture. There you go. Where you should be, buddy. Oh, here we do see a call. Oh, we're taking out prize, actually. But here we go. So Jan could be starting to get away here. Currently 5 in the loss, so that's going to go up to 7. You know, that could start to get out of hand. I think realistically, oh no, to be fair, he could get to 10.
Yeah,
if you see some more comp phase and some switching cards, or lost vacuum again.
Theoretically, he can. Yeah, no, and he definitely hope to as well. There's 7 in the lost zone now. If he can try and find 3 more comp phase, but you know, it's a tall order, but you know, not impossible, especially with the amount of switch outs that these decks play.
Yeah, so many switch outs, switching cart, escape rope, cross switches even. Sometimes you could even play normal switch if you wanted.
Yeah, we see Jan playing that as well.
Yeah, definitely an option for sure.
Yeah, but opting to keep up the tempo here with his own Cramorant. So hopefully taking his 2nd prize of the game now with that Spit Innocently attack. Knowing that he can't, you know, maybe it's not optimal to continue with the flower selecting right now. Keep some more switch outs in hand, ready for your later turns. But here we see the Spit Innocently on the Cramorant, and it's back to Andre.
Yeah, so let's see what Andre can do here. Currently, Jan's at 4 prizes. Andre is at 5. Only got 4 in the loss zone. That's what's worrying me the most, though. 4 in the loss zone is not great. Ideally, you want to try and get to that Sableye as soon as possible. Though, here we go. We do see a Colress. We're only get to 6 now at a minimum.
Yeah.
Still 4 cards away. Still, I guess, in theory, you could get to 10 this turn if you mix in a couple flower selectings and get a lost vacuum going. But definitely an uphill struggle. Most likely, probably just going to see a Spit Innocently, if I had to guess. Yeah,
it's definitely a tall order again for Andre to try and, you know, keep up that engine and especially go for the Lost Mine. It's maybe a bit too advantageous, but, you know, he can keep up the pressure again with another Cramorant of his own. So we see here, he still hasn't flower selecting, so he can see 2 more cards this turn. And we see here another case of the accordion hands from the from the Lost Zone decks. You know, both of these guys, they'll only play Roxanne as disruption. So for the earlier turns, these guys will have absolutely massive hands. Opts for maybe the Nest Ball to try and guarantee that Cramorant. Debating though, the Lost Vacuum, of course, can be fantastic for those pop-offs. Put 2 more in the Lost Zone, but here we see him opting for that Nest Ball, and I imagine it's going to be another Cramorant. It's a Cramorant off.
Yeah, and that's how these early Lost Box mirrors go. It's like Cramorant. Who can be the first one to get to the Sableye? And after that, it becomes a Lost Mine off. And who can be the first one to just stop announcing Lost Mine tends to be the loser, unfortunately. Here we go, see Sableye currently at 2 in the Lost Zone. If Andre has a Lost Vacuum and a way to retreat, we can actually see the Lost Mine right now. I have to imagine maybe if you've benched the Sableye and Energy, maybe he has it already.
He can opt to scratch, yeah. So he can opt to scratch, which does set up that 2 prize on 2 comp phase. So, but you know, if Jan's fortunate enough to have that,
I think Lost Vacuum's in hand.
Oh, the Lost Vacuum.
Yeah, so we do see Lost Vacuum in hand, getting to that magic 10. So Andre going for the turn. Well, was it turn 3, I think. Lost 1, but the first player to get there. It's such a shame he led the Haluchi. This could have been a perfect time for it almost.
Yeah, it could have been a perfect time, but we see here, I imagine Andre is going to be doing the same thing that Jan did in the last game, which is trying to remove that engine from Jan for the later turns. So I imagine he's going to be opting for a Comfey and then just softening up the other.
Yeah, I think that's probably what you do, right? I mean, look, is there an argument to ever putting it on the Cram? Probably not, actually. Let's put it on the Confay. That's the most soft. Wow, that goes to 5. Oh my goodness, man. Lost Mine's good in here. Yeah, Lost Mine is a good attack.
It's pretty good, and it also it disrupts Jan because he can't. You know, he can't get rid of this damage with a switching card to the effect where Lost Mine won't be taking 2 prizes. It puts that Comfey on 2 damage counters, which means that Lost Mine is still taking 2 prizes from 70 HP Pokemon.
I think you are 100% correct there. Nessie, Jan seems to be taking a while. I imagine his hand is one of those hands where it's not quite explosive. You have to really think and deliberate about what you want to play and why. There's a good start, though. I mean, It doesn't quite get you out of the two-shot. No, you are correct, actually, with the Sableye, right? So...
And he has to get rid of this threat, right? He has to get rid of the Sableye, but knowing that these two players play 3 Clara each, it's a tall order to get rid of a threat against Lost Zone and not expect it coming right back at you the next turn.
Especially with Andre playing 3 Clara and 3 Sableye, right?
Yeah.
Here we do see the Raihan, though, attaching that fire energy from the discard pile, and then you get to get any card from your deck. So whatever Jan wants to do this turn, you know, I'm fairly certain he might be able to do it. Could this be a turn maybe where you see a Halucha with the Sableye, maybe go 2 prize cards this turn? Is that ever?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't see his hand, but it's something that can be done. If Jan has something in his hand which can be lost vacuumed, that's certainly something.
Oh yeah, he's still not at 10, I apologise. Yeah.
However, we see here, he's just deliberating.
Is it going to be a Spit Innocently then? Wait, switch card?
Oh, another
okay,
switch
yeah.
card. Okay.
Into a Spit Innocently.
Spit Innocently there. So, unfortunately, without flying entry, Andre won't be able to take that multi-prize knockout next turn.
Yeah.
But we see Jan here still went up on that prize race.
Yes.
And it's back to Andre.
Yeah, it's a shame that Halucha was so eager to get involved. This would be a prime time if you could get Halucha off here, right? Yep. Go 2 prize cards and remove both comp phase from Jan's side of the board. Unfortunately, though, there is no pennies in Andre's list. Scoop Up Net has rotated, so that Halucha is staying right there. Over to Andre's side of the board, and I have to imagine just wants to try and get to Lost Mine. If I had to guess, just sprinkle, sprinkle, sprinkle. You could, in theory, as well, I guess, KO the Crown with your own Crown Map, maybe, but I feel as if in your 1 prize card back, you want to try and make those plays to leapfrog back into the lead, as it were. So there comes Sableye, looking familiar, getting ready to do some damage.
Yeah, Andre still has to make the maximum effort to try and take multiple prizes, being that he's 1 prize down. So,
yeah.
You know, if he can still do the same as last turn, take out a comp phase, soften up the other one, ready for next turn, this is going to be, unfortunately, the only way that he can really get back into this matchup, unless he can do some sort of Radiant Charizard shenanigans. You can't knock out mine, but I can knock out whatever you have up front. And we see here, he's just going to flower selecting Fog Crystal and Poker Gear.
It's like he's deciding now what to take. Have we seen all his sidekicks? Because surely the Fog Crystal would be the easy decision. Just like saying, how many cards are in your hand? Oh, maybe Andre might be trying to dig for the Roxanne. Yeah. The Roxanne here, actually.
It's an unfortunate flower selecting because if he does get the Fog Crystal, it means that he can Lost Mine. However, it reduces his chance to get Roxanne this turn. So I'm thinking he's hoping to get the Roxanne from the Poker Gear,
yes,
and then draw into
the Psychic Energy.
The Psychic Energy, yeah.
There we do see the escape rope, forcing a comp fairly active, and looks like we might be seeing another flower selecting here, or will we go straight for the Poker, trying to work out the sequencing? That's why. And obviously level 30, that obviously makes the most sense.
Thinning is winning.
Yeah, thinning is winning. Take a card that is not a supporter out the deck, so you maximize the odds of your Poker Gear hitting what you want. That's why we're seeing that there. That would have been a good way to get Halucha, funnily enough, that level ball, if Halucha wasn't in play.
Yeah, Level Ball, a recent inclusion in these Lost Zone decks. And again, it's these cards which have multiple functions, right? There's a lot of Pokemon that is available to them from Level Ball, with all of these Pokemon that are really not very high HP. Of course, Level Ball, anything with 90 HP or lower, they are available to grab out right out of that deck. And we see here another flower selecting, and he's just deliberating on what picking based on Jan's discard pile. I think he's maybe counting how many switch outs.
Yeah, looks like it. I think you're correct, actually.
Yeah.
So let's see. Look, checking, consulting his own discard pile, and these are the nitty-gritty turns, right? These are the ones where every decision needs to be immaculate if you want to try and win, right? There's still plenty of time left here. A tie here doesn't help any player, so we don't want to be seeing that. So let's just see what's going on. Here we see the Poker Gear. Here we go. Do we see Roxanne? We see Raihan. We do not.
Oh, super unfortunate for Andre. We see that he opted to Lost Zone the switch card over the Echoing Horn. Echoing Horn can be so beneficial in this matchup, of course, grabbing another 70 HP Pokemon from the discard pile right back onto the bench.
Yeah, 100% there. It's a shame. It would have been interesting to see how Roxanne, how Roxanne would have worked in that scenario. It doesn't look like Andre's deck is particularly big there. Maybe had like, you know, some kind of like the players are chuckling about something. I guess you could play the Rohan here, I guess. It's never a bad card to play, right? You can definitely get the Roxanne next turn.
Yeah, I mean, he still has to put an energy on that Sableye to use Lost Mine.
Yes.
So, you know, he can opt to use Raihan, he can opt to use the Clara as well, but I think, you know, he wants to optimize the Clara, so, you know, using Raihan could be advantageous here, and of course can guarantee Roxanne for your next turn.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at Ion's side of the board, it's not particularly dangerous. There's no Beach Court in play. We have seen a fair few amount of switch cards being used, so, you know, Comfeys do need to maneuver around the place for it to be effective. Oh, just going to see the Clara instead. Don't mind that at all.
Okay.
Again, you get back into a combination of Pokemon and or basic energy cards. It's fantastic for a deck like Lost Box that only operates off basic energy and basic Pokemon. You can basically just recycle whatever you want, whenever you want. And here we do see the Sableye with an energy now, Lost Mine. Is it going to be the classic of all on one Comfey and the rest on the other?
Yeah, I would imagine so. And I mean, choosing the Clara was actually there's a reason why I'm sat on this desk. Choosing to use Clara, so, you know, making that Charizard active next turn by grabbing that, grabbing that fire energy. So hopefully next turn that Roxanne play can come active. But like we said before, taking a knockout on the Comfey and softening up the other.
And let's see, over to Jan. Let's see what he can manufacture here. This is getting to the nitty-gritty turns. If Jan wants to try and get him spot in day 2, needs to win this game at a bare minimum. Let's see what he does. Confidently gets rid of a Lost Vacuum. Does get to 10 in the Lost Zone now, fine. So he can start firing off his own Lost Mines if he wants.
Lost Mine is active. Lost Mine is active, I repeat. Jan choosing to use the Pokegear here. Maybe hoping for a Roxanne of himself.
I've got to say, yeah, imagine if he gets the Roxanne here, what twist of fortune.
I mean, a Roxanne Horlucha with, you know, with the Sableye could be really, really damaging here.
Going down to 1, and you still have your own Radiant Zard as well, just to clean up whatever's in the active, right? Yeah, that would be the dreamer scenario, I think. Can Jan put that turn together? Doesn't need a great deal, to be honest. Chorus would be one piece of the puzzle here. Yep. Are we going to see Lost Mine plus Hawlucha? That
that is not,
no, that is
no.
That is a rough 0 parts of that puzzle, unfortunately. Yeah. So, Andre might be getting away with it at least this turn. I haven't quite seen what else is in Jan's hand, but it doesn't look like I see much purple. Ooh, and it could be this.
To put down the Charizard.
This is interesting. I don't mind this.
I mean, this is active after one more knockout from Andre, so I imagine this is going to be a threat for Andre, but if Andre is able to Echoing Horn next turn and Lost Mine, you know, it puts him one prize up here in this matchup.
Yeah, and that's how I think these matchups tend to go. If you fall behind, you need to hop back in front at some point by getting cheeky with it, whether that is a Hawlucha, whether that is an Echoing Horn. You will need to do some sort of manipulation.
There's always fist bumping the game.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Worth a try. Was that concession? No? Okay.
So he does have the Echoing Horn in hand.
He does.
So now Andre can really, really take this game to the next level for him by taking 2 prizes and putting himself 1 prize card away from day 2.
But if Andre does put himself down to 1 prize card, Jan still has that 1 turn window of going for the Hawlucha plus Lost Mine turn, right?
Yeah.
So it's coming really down to the wire here, folks. These next turns are going to be crucial. Yeah. Let's see what Andre can do.
The plays available for both players here. So let's see how it goes. Oh, the Roxanne! He's got the Roxanne. He's got the Roxanne.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. So we'll see how this matchup plays out now. I don't think he has Psychic Energy in hand, however, though.
True.
So he will have to try and find a Psychic Energy from that Roxanne. I think he's only got 1 left in deck as well.
Yeah.
So looking at the hand, there's not much available to him other than that Charizard. He can, you know, maybe take a prize with the Charizard and Roxanne. Hopefully, Jan not having, well, him hoping that the fire isn't in Jan's hand. a lot of... He's just checking the odds here. He's
yeah,
odds,
you have to just start playing a probability game. Oh, I didn't see what we got rid of, actually.
He got rid of switching cards.
Oh, okay. So that means he kept the Roxanne then.
Oh, no.
Here's the Echoing Horn.
Echoing Horn is here.
Yep, got to put down the least purple with the least HP.
I love how Andre just looks up.
Yeah, look at that look.
Gives him that side eye.
Yeah, you put down the right one, please. Don't be trying nothing. There's plenty of cameras around.
How is my opponent going to react here?
Okay, so we need to find what a psychic energy. Ideally, I think you can't have maximum odds. I think, right? What was that?
Putting down the
nest ball. Wait, was there a psychic in there?
There was a psychic.
There was. Okay.
There was a psychic in there.
How many? Was there any fog crystals left? Only played the one. No, that's gone.
So there is.
There's a lot of. Yeah.
There is another option to flower selecting again, and another option again.
Yeah.
Oh,
here we go. Here's the Roxanne. Look at Jan's face. He's thinking, not like this. We've seen Roxanne's being fired up left, right, and centre. This Roxanne could decide the fate of who gets into day 2 here at the Malmo Regionals.
Oh.
Here we go, Ben. Here we go. Oh, my goodness. Again, we need to find the psychic energy for Andre. Currently a one-of in his deck. No fog crystal. Do have access to maybe use multiple flower selections to get it, but we do need to get it. Is there a purple card?
5, 6. Oh,
was there a switching card there?
There was an escape.
There was one.
There was an escape rope.
Oh my goodness.
There was an escape rope, but I think you'd have to find 2 more and another switch out.
Oh yeah, you're right. You would have to find another switch out. They could have been.
So there is.
There's the escape rope.
Oh, sorry, the escape rope. Yes.
Yeah. What does Jan promote? Promotes the Comfey.
And unfortunately for Andre, he's bench locked himself here, so he can't even crown around. Right? He's totally gone for it.
Oh no.
So here we see another flower selecting.
Well, there's no purple there either. That was a VIP battle pass.
That was a switching car, I believe. So we can flower selecting again. Just asking the judge to shuffle the prizes there.
Oh, you're right. It was a switching card, but that doesn't work because then you need to find a switching card as well.
So
oh my goodness! So has the Roxanne done enough to Jan's way? He can't do much. There's no Roxanne again. Roxanne's here, there, and everywhere. Can't get away from her. She's following him around.
This is an absolute
tennis
match.
Goodness.
I'm going to be thinking of Roxanne now all day.
I'll be terrified of Roxanne. Stay in the deck. I don't want to see you.
Oh,
and there it is.
It comes down.
Ooh, goodness. So again, but Jan still has the potential to win exactly this turn, right? Halucha plus Sableye. So can Jan steal this game?
Halucha, Sableye will give Jan the game. Both players chuckling. You love to see it. You love to see our players here enjoying themselves, especially in such high octane, high drama situations.
Ooh.
You know, one of these players can potentially make day 2, and we see
Sableye. Escape rope, switch car.
2 more.
Ooh, not
one more.
One more. Hey, up. Oh, double battle VIP pass.
He still has flower selecting.
Does that flower selecting? What was that? I didn't see purple. Nest ball beach court. It's got to be beach court then, right?
Yeah, and what's so advantageous here is for, you know, with the fact that he has switching car.
That heals the damage.
It'll take away Andre's option. Oh, that's an easy choice.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, you're right. That removes that potential prize hop turn for Andre, and you can tell he's there we go, getting done like this,
Yeah, the body language from Andre isn't great. He's seeing the writing on the wall here. With that flying entry, Halucha kept on the bench due to him starting it, not being an option to him, has really been detrimental here.
Oh, goodness. So here we do see the lost mine there from Jan. 12 damage counters, 8 on the Sableye. And that leaves, what, 4 more?
And I'd imagine another 4 on a Comfey somewhere. Or maybe even a Halucha.
Yeah, I think
the Halucha is probably the best option, just because he's not using flower selecting.
Yes, you're not going to put that in the active switch card, are you?
Just a switch card, yeah, of course.
What are those 2 cards from the Roxanne for Andre then? We see a nest ball for a cram. So that means, Giannis is a psychic energy away from winning now, right?
Yeah, and I'd imagine, well, he can try and use Radiant Charizard to try and delay the knockout and ask Jan, do you have fire energy? But we see here Oh, and he's taking the
concession.
The concession. Writing was on the wall, but that was so stressful.
Yeah, it was, and full credit there to Jan, you know, not giving up. It looked like Andre was starting to steam ahead there, as it were, but unfortunately, Jan was able to pull that one through. Currently at 1-1, only 20 seconds left on the clock when that game finished. Chances are this might be going to, well, it probably is going to a tie.
Yeah, unfortunate for both players. It was a tale of the Roxanne. It was tales over the Roxannes, you know.
Yeah.
I Roxanne you know, do you get it? I'll Roxanne myself, do I get it?
Yeah.
Super unfortunate, but you know, that's the way the cookie crumbles.
Yeah, and I think the way, feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel as if the way the time rules work is if game 3 doesn't start, then that's it, right? You don't get the extra turns, so I'm fairly certain that will end in a tie for both players, I believe.
Yeah, super unfortunate if that is the eventuality, but I think both players are setting
Looks like they're shuffling up, so ignore what I'm saying.
I believe they finished just in time for a game 3, so maybe even some early Cramorant donks.
Maybe Cramorant has spit innocently. Now, there's a real interesting scenario. In this scenario, would you definitely opt to go second, right? Yeah.
I mean, you know, it's
and cross your fingers.
It's an option to you, but you know, if you, yeah, I mean, I guess you know you can opt to go second. We heard from Piotr earlier in the day. He does opt to go second in the mirror exactly for that.
Okay.
Opting to get the Colress off first, start that engine first, get the one up on your opponent. So it'll be really interesting to see how Andre, you know, makes that decision.
Yeah, for sure. It's those micro decisions, isn't it? The decisions over the course of a 9-round tournament or day 2 as well. It's just gets tough.
Yeah, it gets super tough, and I think our judge is just checking if our game did end in time for a game 3. So we will be right back with that news. But again, back to those little micro decisions in this matchup, they're crucial, you know. But fortunate for both players, you know, that engine, that Clara Sableye engine, it's so doubted on for these two decks, you know.
Yeah.
Andre, there's a reason why he's picked 3 Sableye for his deck list, right?
Yep.
There's definitely a reason, and you know, for both of these players, 3 Clara, it's just a lost mine keeping up. Can you keep up? Who can Holucha first? Who can get one up on the prize race? It's really exciting to see.
Yeah, Clara, when your whole deck is a one prize basic Pokemon that attacks for 1 energy, is insane. It basically says if you've got 2 Sableyes in the discard pile and 2 Psych Engine, you Clara. So say my next 2 turns of attackers are right here in my hand. I can even bench them attached to 1, just takes the pressure off. So even if you do get Roxanne, all you have to do then is find the Psychic Energy. And Clara's an insane card. We've seen it being used like Galarian Moltres. Remember back in the day when that was like the Mew counter, as it were, because you could like use the Malevolent Charge and get rolling. It gets carried, just pick it straight back up again, put it back down. And yeah, Clara's an insane card for these 1 prize decks because you get so much value, because your 1 prize Pokemon get KO'd so often. They're in the discard pile often, you just pick them back up and reuse them again. Yeah,
I know, and 3 counts of Clara, for some people not playing Lost Box, that sounds like quite a lot.
Yeah.
But fortunately, you know, this deck list, as we said earlier, 4 Cross Switcher, 3 Clara, there's just space. This deck just has space to put these cards in, these power cards, because of how consistent the engine really is.
Yep.
But of course, Clara is so vital. You know, that 1 Radiant Charizard is really your only opportunity to do massive punching damage to your opponent's Pokemon, and it's so vital in those V-Star, V-Max matchups where you just do a little sprinkle with Lost Mine and all of a sudden you've checkmated your opponent.
Yeah, you just sort of take some cheeky prize cards with Cramorant, you know, weave in a couple with Sableye and just come swinging in with that Radiant Charizard. If you have a Choice Belt, that's 280, getting around V-Guard energies because it's not a V Pokemon, so you're taking Okos on Lugias, on Arceus even, or even Defiant Belt, which you have seen now, which let you increase your damage into EX Pokemon, or I guess non-wall box ones as well, if there's some that have 280 HP, Charizard will take care of them as well. And I guess on paper, because you're not playing the Mirage Gates, you have room for, you know, cross switchers, Pokegears even, or the 3rd copy of Sableye, just to help you manufacture that more often.
Yeah, and it's really interesting, the Radiant Charizard. I think when that card first came out, everybody was like, oh my god, 250 damage for 1 energy, that's so high. How do we find a way to keep this going? How do we find a way to keep getting this card back into the active to do massive damage. It was first paired with Inteleon, and now it's found its soulmate really with the Lost Zone because of how popular it is with players.
Yeah, and like you said, it's interesting when it was first debuted in the Inteleon deck. I think it was Ross Cawthorn, I believe, sort of put it on the map, and it was so focused on just using the Charizard often as possible. You had like Twin Energy, Fire Energy, Raihan, all that jazz. And then when Lost Zone came out, I was like, wait, we actually need to try and recycle this Charizard so aggressively because we've got Cramorant, we've got Sableye now. We can just use that Charizard as a big late game punch if we need to. And like you said, on face value, a basic Pokemon for 1 energy that hits for 250, 280 with a modifier is just a bit absurd.
Yeah, and perfect partner for Clara, you know, just taking one fire, and then Charizard itself, you know, doing 250 damage turn by turn. Not bad at all.
Yeah, like the strength of the Lost Box decks are that it makes some decks like Alex Szymanski's EUIC champion deck playing 4 Lost City. That has doesn't help him at all. But what it does do is stop this Clara loop or Radiant Charizard loop, Sableye loop, anything like this. It just basically says my stadium is here to stop this one archetype, and that's all it's there for. And that archetype is so strong, I'm willing to play 4 copies of this stadium just to deny that Lost Box attacking core.
Yeah, fortunate for our players out here playing the Lost Zard. Lost City isn't that popular of a card at the moment.
No.
You know, and that's the reason why Lost Zard is so popular in this event. They're taking full advantage of the meta and just, you know, continuing to use that Radiant Charizard, the Sableyes, you know, the Cramorants, and really taking advantage of those multi-prize decks.
Yeah, 100%. We've seen, you know, Arceus, Giratina done well. Was it last weekend? We went 2 regionals, I think, on the same weekend, right? I think Indonesian one via Cash Vinder, and then I think it won the American one as well, didn't it?
Yeah, I believe so.
Definitely won, yeah. So, and then if you look at those results, you think, well, Charizard with a Choice Belt and or Defiance Belt one-shots both of them. I don't care about your V-Guard energy, and, you know, do some little sprinkling. And it seems like that's why I think we've seen a lot of Sablezard today. And walking around the table, we've seen a lot of Sablezard as well. And I think as a natural reaction to last week's meta, it seems like a natural progression, and it seems to be like they're doing well.
Yeah, no, of course. And, you know, like I said earlier, perfect partner with Sableye as well, with those little sprinkle damages and, you know, playing correctly, playing it smartly, playing it intelligently, making sure that Charizard, you know, can take 250 damage to the max and taking those multiple prizes. It can really put your opponents in those sort of checkmate situations. Oh, I've got 80 damage on my Duraludon. I've got 60 damage on my Gardevoir EX. I can't really get around that Charizard, unfortunately.
Yeah, and in those scenarios, it's so strong because you know that Charizard's going to be coming. It's only a basic Pokemon. It's not the hardest thing in the world to grab. It attacks for 1 energy, magma-based, and can even attach that energy for you. I mean, you can attach elsewhere, or you can be playing with a no-card hand and your board is set up there so you can attach energies and attack as well.
Yeah, no, super relevant. And also, you know, as we see here from Jan's playing that Mirage Gate, you know, getting up, like you said before, getting up that Charizard when it has absolutely no business in doing so. And I remember some early lists playing things like Twin Energy as well.
Yeah, 100%.
You know, taking full advantage of the colorless energy cost on that Combustion Blast. But unfortunately, you know, time has ended. Unfortunately, our judge has deemed this match a draw on the basis that the game had ended after time was called.
Yeah, so it looks like there will be no game 3 there for Andre and Yami. That does end in a tie, which unfortunately does put them out of a day 2 contention. But what a couple games that was, though. Highly entertaining.
Yeah. So super drama. You know, the Roxanne off, as I said earlier.
It was.
It doesn't get much high tempo than that. It's a game of tennis.
Yeah.
Really. But yeah, super unfortunate for the both of them. But hopefully 5-2-2 records, nothing to be snuffed at certainly on the standings. Hopefully both of those players can definitely get some points.
100%. And you guys couldn't see us while we were casting, but when those Roxannes were getting fired off, we're both there like, oh my goodness, does he get it? Did they get it? Did they get it? And unfortunately, they did not. But that actually wraps up our coverage here for Malmo Regionals for today. The good news is we're back at 9 AM tomorrow at the start of day 2, where everyone playing will be looking to get the regional champion title, and we're going to see the finest players with the finest decks. We've all done really well here today. So if you had enjoyed this action, make sure to come back tomorrow morning where we're going to have a lot more for you. And see you later.
See you later.